Hey guys, it's Book of Katherine. Sorry I'm down. I'm not having such a good day right now. But let's talk a little bit about the Kavanaugh case. So the Senate has once again, shocker, put off the Senate vote. Shocker. Let's talk about why they've put it off again. Why have they put it off this one? You're probably wondering when I filmed this. Because you're like, well, which time is she talking about? What have they put it off for this time, right? Because they've put it off so many times. Let's start with a few things. Number one, if you haven't seen the video yet, you need to understand something. David Fromm. If you don't know the name, you need to know the name. David Fromm is an insider with the GOP. He is a political analyst. He's a political, he works in the inner GOP sanctum. He is a lobbyist. He is like the coalition. He calls them the coalition, right? When they did Politicon, they used him as the spokesman for the GOP. He's like the GOP insider. Okay? You need to know his name. So when they had Politicon, they had David Fromm speak as the GOP establishment frontman. So you need to understand that first, because there are several parts of the GOP. There's like the base, which is like the immigrants. A lot of them are immigrants. And then there are the Christians, not the progressive Christians, but there's like the other Christians, which are like, there's just a whole bunch of different kinds. And then there's other Christians who are over like the Democrats and stuff and Catholics and everything, right? But there are some conservative Christians, right? Then there's like the Trumpers, right? And those are much more independent, and there's a whole range of them. And then there are the libertarians who are starting to vote GOP. There's an entire huge range of GOP. But what you need to understand is that who is voting in the Senate are establishment GOP people. Those are establishment. They are GOP politicians that have been there for decades in some cases. And when I say establishment, we're talking Bush era. We're talking like older than Newt Gingrich type. They're the ones who backed Marco Rubio. They're the ones that backed Hillary Clinton. They're the ones who, as David Fromm said, when Trump got the nomination, they voted for Hillary Clinton. So you need to understand that when Trump goes ahead and puts in a nominee to replace Scalia, that's fine. It's already replacing a conservative vote. Now they're putting in someone to put in a swing vote. Well, if you look at our Congress, even though they've put in all these conservative people, they've given the conservative majority over to Republicans, have they voted conservative? You've handed over them for 8 years now or whatever. Have they voted conservative? No. They have allowed the budget to balloon to 3 times the size. 75% of the budget goes to federal assistance programs. We are more socialist than Canada. And even though you can have a conservative president in there who keeps saying, let's roll it back, all the things that are conservative that are happening is everything that POTUS is putting forward. And then POTUS immediately hands it to Congress and says, here, can you make it law? Rolling back all these regulations, can you make it law? And what the coalition does is the coalition spreads out their votes and does this thing where they hand it off to all the people who are in the race this year. And they make sure that all the people, and they say, you guys vote yes on, no on budgets. And then you guys vote no on infrastructure. And you guys vote no on this. And so they spread out the no votes. And so they have just enough no votes so that it doesn't pass. And the only thing they passed was the tax, because they knew it would bounce back. And they knew that they would have one thing to make them look really good, and they'd all get voted in again. And luckily, we caught on to the game. Meanwhile, they're funding Facebook and the rest of them to censor all of the Trump people coming up who are like, oh, Trump's running. I think I can run for office. And the GOP lady slipped. She actually said, yeah, with the crackdown, there was a bunch of candidates who tried to put their site up and it got down the moment it came up. And then she kind of was like, oh crap, I said that, right? Now, luckily, the people who did get through when we did clean the GOP were people who had already run before Trump. They were independents. So they're not even Trumpers. They're independents who had already been like people who were trying to run just kind of like Trump, who'd been talking about office before. But what's really sad is that people who were inspired by Trump never got to get going. Like people who were inspired by Trump and got like expired into like the political system, the democratic system didn't get going. So what you need to understand is that now we're in a situation where the establishment has not been voting with conservative values whatsoever. They've let everything go left. We have a pretty much communist government. We have a huge overreaching federal government, which the Republicans establishment has refused. If you listen to David Fromm, I'll link it right here. He actually says the American public has decided they want universal health care. And he's like, and they're just going to have to live with it. We're going to have universal health care. That's what the GOP frontman said. He said, we have a good coalition in Congress now that works together really well. He said that. He didn't say we're all over the map. We're all over the place and we don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to get together. He said we have a good coalition that knows how to work together. What you're seeing in Congress right now is a coalition that knows how to work together. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're making sure that the swing vote stays left, that the agenda of Trump doesn't go through before the midterm elections because we freaking cleaned the GOP. And we got a ton of people in that are not their people. And you know what happens when that happens? They'd rather have in Hillary Clinton, which means it's their chance to have an impeachment. So that's what they're doing right now. You guys are forgetting that they have the majority. They can put in whoever they want. You can be like, oh, they voted right away. They voted right away. You guys, it's a coalition. They knew McCain would just go down. You think they didn't know that would happen? They could be... What a great game plan. I mean, have you seen how they fooled us? How tight that game plan is? David Fromm is like bragging about what a tight coalition they had. These guys are career politicians. Career politicians. They're not straight talkers. They are performers. They are actors. And what you guys are seeing, a real rehearsed symphony. That's what they do, is they play people. Just like the Democrats play people and play a symphony, so do the Republicans. The establishment, they play people like a symphony. And you're seeing a symphony. And what I think is amazing is that everyone on the GOP side thing, the whole range of conservatives, they're getting yelled up and they're yelling at the Democrats. And I'm like, why? They don't have the majority. The Democrats have no power to vote. What are you yelling at the Democrats for? Like they're going to change. Why aren't you yelling at the GOP establishment and being like, freaking vote already? Why aren't you putting the pressure on them? And I'm just like, that's right. That's right. Because the people at the top, the money at the top are like, haha, we're not going to get Trump what he wants. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the GOP look like liars and backstabbers. We're going to break our word 8 million times and make us look like weak as, Trump went out there and made the GOP look so strong and so like we can stand up and America is so strong. And the GOP is making the conservative movement look like sponges that can be kicked around. They're making the Democrats look like the most powerful party on earth when they don't even have any votes. And it's amazing to me that the GOP, the entire range of people, you're not holding them accountable. No one's holding them accountable. Why are you yelling at the Democrats? They're doing what they normally do. They're going to the FBI. They're making all this noise, but they're just making it to give the GOP establishment who is on their side, who supports them, they're on the same side. I talked about my very first Clean the GOP. I was like, they're on the same side. The GOP establishment is on the same side. And until you guys start calling out the GOP establishment, they're going to continue to get away with it. So it's up to you. But why are you out there? It's exactly like when the girl finds out that her boyfriend's cheating and she gets mad at the other girl instead of the boyfriend that's cheating. Why are you mad at the boy? You voted in somebody. Like, I don't get it. This is what I'm truly I don't see Dinesh D'Souza. I don't see Ben Shapiro. I don't see anything. I don't see Louder with Crowder. I don't see even my libertarian. I didn't even see my diggers. I don't see any of them. I don't see the 4chan people. I don't see any. All I see them doing is going after the Democrats. I see them going after Nancy Pelosi. I see them going after Dianne Feinstein. And I'm like, you should be going after the Chuck Grasslys. You should be going after the Mark Meadows and after the Orrin Hatches and the people who are doing the symphony and just totally stabbing you in the back and going against what you voted at them for. Or are they giving you what you wanted? A stab in the back? Like you said you wanted a conservative Supreme Court justice. Why am I mad? Why am I mad when I was an independent back when the voting was happening? To be honest, I was thinking about it because I was like, I was just going to do Answering Bernie Sanders, and I thought it was hysterical because back when the voting was happening, I knew so little that I was kind of like, ooh, Bernie, Trump, and I was just like, I'm so glad, we have two different people voting, and I was just like, oh, I'll be so, this is kind of neat. And I didn't think there was really a big difference between either one. And I was thinking how stupid I was. How far I've come from Bernie, how excited I was about Bernie, and how far I've come on that. But the thing is that now I look and I'm like, these GOP people are supposed to be the smart ones. This is what they fought for. I've seen the tapes. And I'm like, why aren't you holding the people you voted in accountable? Why are you yelling at people you didn't vote for? I don't understand it. And they are playing such a smart game. Do you not know who David Fromm is? Do you not know that he has an amazing coalition together? That this is all, did you not watch my, who are they voting for? Everyone's like, oh, it's Paul Ryan's fault. He's one guy. It's Chuck Grassley who controls the vote. It's this Murkowski. They said, what's amazing? And they said, Ed Murkowski is doubting her vote because of outside groups. They didn't even say voters. She's representing Alaska, and they haven't even mentioned Alaska once. They keep saying outside groups. That's George Soros. We've seen who the outside groups are. And you guys aren't even pissed. Not one GOP or conservative person has been like, wow, outside groups are after Murkowski. That's leftist. That's Google's. We know who the lobby groups are. They're all Chinese Communist Party leftist groups. So we know communism and Sharia is down on these people to make sure a conservative isn't coming in on the Supreme Court. And you guys aren't after the GOP. You know they're being lobbied and you don't care. You're not in their ear. You're like, I'll go yell at the Democrats' ear. What the heck? You're just like, I'll leave Murkowski alone. I know she's being talked to by other leftist groups. So you're leaving the leftists to them. You're like, go let the leftists talk, but you're not getting in there. It's amazing to me that you're not lobbying your own people. I gotta go. It's amazing to me. I'm so glad we cleaned the GOP. I'm so glad we cleaned the GOP because that's exactly what we're trying to get is these establishment stupid people out because our people would never do this to us. Our people have lived it, breathed it. They are not speak one side of your mouth and speak out the other side. That's why they hate these guys. I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad we cleaned the GOP. Peace out, guys. Bye. All right. Watch these two videos and donate if you can, but that's not why I did this video. I don't really care if you donate. Don't have to donate at all for this one. Just go lobby the person you put in already to do their dang job. Hold them accountable. Stop being like, oh, the FBI needs to do their job or the FBI and they'll hold this accountable. Why don't you hold your own congressman accountable for once? I gotta go. That's all.